Hello, friends. In our Do This Today episode, I'm going to again suggest something that Yogananda recommended that is bordering on medical advice. So I will once again give the disclaimer: check with your doctor, check with your physical therapist or whoever you look to for that kind of advice. Yogananda suggested that we get some exercise every day. Now, he said it in an interesting way that in itself is actually a little bit of a disclaimer. But what he suggested was get some exercise every day as vigorous as your constitution will allow. So I want to highlight those words once again: as vigorous as your constitution will allow. So if you are a frail 90-something, your constitution is not going to allow much more than probably a walk. But if you are a vigorous teen, 20-something, 30-something, whatever, as vigorous as your constitution will allow, might allow quite a lot. But he said, as vigorous as your constitution will allow until you break a sweat, until you perspire, at least 10 minutes or so, twice a day. Twice a day, he said this. Now, if your constitution doesn't allow very much of anything, you may not achieve the breaking a sweat unless it's, baking hot summer where you are. So, use that with a grain of salt according to your situation and your ability and the weather and so forth. But one of the things that doing that accomplishes is it gets some oxygen in our brain. It gets some movement. It gets some sort of moves the energy through the body. Our bodies are designed to be used. We are not designed to sit on couches or chairs and look at computer screens all day long. We're designed to move and be active, be energetic, actually use the energy that is available to us. If you think back through history, it was only kings and rulers who could sort of achieve the diseases that are commonly killing off people in the modern world: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, hypertension. So those sorts of things were not available to the common person because they were active. They were busy all day long, and they may have died young from disease, etc. I mean, I'm not trying to be overly simplistic here, but the kind of sedentary life that we have achieved now, with packages being delivered on our doorstep, potentially even by drone pretty soon. I mean, it's practically to the point where we can have a robot come and put the food in our mouths and all we have to do is sit. That is not living. That is not life. Our ancestors had to farm, had to herd cattle, had to move and be active. And if you look around at the healthiest, happiest cultures in the world, they're cultures that naturally move around a lot. They're out walking, they're talking with people, they're busy in gardens, and often, of course, they do live in more salubrious climates. But whatever climate you live in, it is possible to get some exercise every day, whether it's on a treadmill, whether it's in your living room, whether it's out running around a track or in nature in some kind of way. All of us can do something. Yogananda himself created a series of energization exercises. Recharging exercises is another way that he phrased them. And they're wonderful. And you can look through YouTube, you can find examples of us leading them. I myself lead them every Thursday morning at our morning sadhana, morning meditation. But you can also find examples of them being taught online as well. They're extremely helpful. You may not be able to break a sweat unless you're doing it in the hot sun in the summer, but doing them because they don't take that long, but they're marvelous at helping to tune into where is the energy blocked? How can I free it up? We become more conscious of the body as energy itself. And so do this today. Get some exercise as vigorous as your constitution will allow. And if you can do so in such a way that you actually break a sweat, that's wonderful. It's like it just purifies the skin, it moves the energy, it helps healing on so many levels. But if not, that's fine too. As vigorous as your constitution will allow is only that vigorous. So, but try that within the limits of your own physiology and with a doctor's approval, but you will find a great balance and a great blessing flowing through your physical body, but it will also impact in very beneficial ways the mental, emotional, and spiritual as well. Namaste.